What's going on, everybody? Woo! Hey, what's up? James Hollingsworth and my sister, my girl,
Dish Vines Leak.
we're in the house. The Working
Yes.
People's Podcast back at you tonight. How y'all doing tonight? Did you want to tell them something before we ask them about watching the different platforms where we're streaming live on? You got something you want to spit out to them? Anything real quick?
No, I just want to say, make sure you guys are drinking plenty fluids. We got some pretty hot temperature days that's set to kind of schedule for this week. I'm from Mississippi, so I love the hot weather. Just makes me feel at home, James.
Makes you feel at home. Hey, look what I got with me. Sweat
I
towel because I was
see.
at work all day, right? So when I came home, my air conditioner was off. So I turned it on. It's been on maybe an hour, hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still trying to cool things off. But hey, we're talking about breaking the generational poverty mindset. Breaking the generational poverty mindset. That's what we're talking about tonight. So if you're watching on the YouTube platform, you're watching us streaming live tonight, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Let's get those subs going, get the algorithm going, press that thumbs up like button, and also, you know what to do, ring that bell so that you will get notified when we upload new videos and new content. If you're watching via Facebook on my personal Facebook page, James Hollingsworth. We're streaming live. You can also press the like button, press the heart button, share the video with your friends, family, your auntie, and your cousin them. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's
we are
right.
here to hope you.
We're here to
Hope
what?
you. We're here to hope you. Helping other people excel.
That's
And
it.
also, if you're watching via the brand spanking new, the Working People's Podcast platform here on Facebook that we just went active yesterday evening, you can also stream the live content there, and you can press that like, heart, and everything else. Share the video from there as well. Check it out. Go over there and like the page, the Working People's Podcast, right here on Facebook. Let's give it a round of applause.
Yes, yes,
Hercules,
yes.
Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules, Hercules.
Hey, Deja, do you want to share the purpose of of this podcast? Why we, do this podcast? You want to
Uh,
share that with them?
No,
Or just
no, you are the founder of the podcast, so it's only right that you let the people know what the Working People's Podcast exists for. And of course, the slogan is to help other
just
people excel.
helping other people excel. So the reason why the podcast kind of exists is it really is about creating generational wealth and creating a financial legacy for families, right? Because that is the central focus and the central
Hmm.
theme. There are so many topics and subjects that surround that. There are plenty of pitfalls and things that hinder it. So therefore, when we start talking about statistics in marriage and statistics as it relate to what we just happen to be and have been all of our life, black,
Hmm. Hmm.
some of these statistics are relevant to the conversation because
Yes.
they hinder us from achieving the generational wealth, right? And so the topic is look, we know that there's no fast track to wealth. We say that a lot, and in order
Yes.
to create it, it takes time, it takes hard work. That's why Disha's on the platform, and we're going to increase her time and face being on the platform because people need to hear the business component more as well.
Hmm.
But we understand as it takes to create wealth, it takes time, it takes hard work, and the ideal that it's going to just happen overnight,
No.
that's an anomaly. That's a
Yes.
unicorn. That's not something that's the standard procedure of how you achieve this, right? It
Hmm.
takes work and it takes you building up your knowledge in different areas and different capacities to gain the proper knowledge that you need to put these pieces together
Hmm.
to get on the path and on the journey to acquire and obtain this generational wealth that can be passed to the next generation, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren,
Absolutely.
beyond your personal lifespan, right? So, with that in mind, we talk about so many other things than just investing in the stock market.
Hmm.
Because look here, the truth be told, unless you get your skills up, and you talking about doing short term trading, if you're talking about doing day trading, those skills have to be at an elevated height, and you got to have some serious resources to go in to build up that kind of volume that's needed to move them to move that lever, that meter, that to
Mm-hmm.
move that needle to create wealth that way. So that's why we talk about systematic trading over a period of time and how future value projections can show you that with a consistent plan and being disciplined, just like Dave Ramsey's studies show of the 10,000 millionaires, that 80% of them reached millionaire status investing in their company sponsored 401k plan. So they did it over a period of time. That's one way through investing. So that's a main component of why the podcast exists. Also, if you watch the other podcast that me and Deidre
Mm-hmm.
just did a few days ago, we also talked about real estate being another main component of building wealth. And the reason why we use the term not being able to earn your way to wealth is because you still have to have something to leverage earnings against in order to sustain wealth, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
teachers on the platform to talk about one of the greatest, best ways, greatest, that's, oh God, that's a horrible English. One of the best ways to create cash flow and income is through business. However, that component must be merged with other types of components of investing, of like real estate or whatever. It has to have something where you can take those earnings and put it into something that has the capacity and the ability to outpace inflation. And as we are in a high inflation uh, uh, environment and economy right now, this should be something that everybody, all of us, quickly and easily understand, right? So that's why we talk about it. But the platform exists, the podcast exists to talk about the components of creating generational wealth and all the aspects of it that hinders that ability or prevents that from being able to happen. So when we share with you statistics that say, as far as Black people are concerned, that at the present moment, statistics show that there is only a 6.4% probability that as an African American Black person, that you will reach millionaire status. I ain't hating on nobody when I say that. When the statistics say that 86% of millionaires are married, I'm not saying that if you're not married, you can't be a millionaire. I'm just telling you that the probability and the statistics show that 86% of millionaires are married. So when I contrast that and I parallel it with the fact that in the Black African American community, only 30% of our people are currently married, according to statistics from blackdemographics.com, Black statistics for Black people by Black people, and it shows that we are number one, the highest rate of divorces, then that becomes a barrier to create generational wealth. That's why we include that as a topic or talking point on the podcast. And when I get excited about it, absolutely. There's times when I will yell,
Mm-hmm.
slam my pen on the table, right? And do all of that because I'm passionate about the subject. But I encourage you to listen to a full podcast, listen to the podcast, listen to the different topics that we're talking about, future value projections, and talking about how you can leave a legacy to your children, which was the podcast that I just did last night. Listen to the podcast and put them
Mm-hmm.
together. And I guarantee you what's going to happen. Deja said it. You're going to be watching the podcast, the full podcast, and you might be watching it for the second time. And
Yes.
you're going to have a what kind of moment, Deja?
A aha moment. Like, wow, that's what they were talking about.
Yes. So that I wanted to bring some clarity to that and really try to explain it. So as we move forward, we're only like 3 weeks into the content on the podcast. So even somebody that's personal and close to me hit me up and was like, "Well, why it's got to be so long?" Because it's not a commercial. And to talk about these talking points and to talk about these topics, we're here to have discussions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm even working on right now trying to put together a podcast where myself and Deja, we're going to have a couple other people on, and we might rotate some people out, rotate some more people in. We
Mm-hmm.
want to have a thorough and a deep conversation about family, about the family, and how we can begin to build generational wealth with the foundation of the family. So we invite you, if you're watching this podcast even right now, if you didn't see my other Facebook post inviting people who would like to be a part of that discussion, we invite you even tonight. If you would like to be a part of the podcast and come on, be considered to be a part of one of the shows to talk about that subject. We want to have a multiple group of people. Myself and Deja will be on. We want to bring on some other people to have a discussion about how we can build a family, because we can't deny it. 86%, the statistics show, 86% of millionaires are married, are married. And divorce, y'all ain't trying to hear me tonight. I could talk about it because I've experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce, unless you already Elon Musk or Bill Gates or somebody like that, divorce is a death sentence to try to create generational wealth. See, I feel like getting excited and slamming my pen down right now. I feel like I'm rambling off on something and I'm not being coherent with my thoughts and sentences. I'm trying to tell you that
Yes.
divorce is a death sentence. It's like taking a knife and cutting your own jugular vein or main artery to wealth. It's like cutting an artery, cutting
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
artery. It's like literally taking a big old backhoe or a big old excavator machine, a John Deere excavator, and ripping up the path, the highway in front of you, and
Yes.
creating barriers and all kind of stumbling blocks and things in the path, and having to go way around out the way because you've ripped up your road and ripped up. Am I making sense, Deja?
Yeah, you are, because
It's a sabotaging. It's a
I've experienced it
sabotage.
also,
Absolutely.
and like you said, it's almost like a death. You the death of a relationship, and everything you built up into that point disintegrates in front of you, and you have
Absolutely.
to start over.
You have to
And
start
just
all
getting
over.
the momentum to start over, it's not easy. You just have to find it and pull it out and keep it pushing. And
I
that
mean,
can take years, though, James.
yes, it
It
could
can
take
take
years.
years to recover. I'm
Yeah.
talking about 10 years or more to recover from that loss of a relationship.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yep. So
You see my face, Deja?
I see your face, and we just want you guys to understand that we're not here to bring about offense to anybody. We are here to have those hard conversations that a lot of people on many platforms just refuse to speak about. But if
Back.
we're going to tell you the strategies that you can use and apply to gain wealth and to build generational wealth, we have to be honest with you and tell you the pitfalls, the
Yes.
stumbling blocks,
Yes.
because what happens is, as you begin to take these principles and apply them, you have to change the way you think.
Absolutely.
Because
And
one,
the
you
good
have to
thing,
believe that it works.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You got to believe that. And one of the things is, if we share statistics, there shows that we do where we put up graphs, we put up charts,
Hmm.
we put up things from credible sources, and you can see a lot of times we will quote where the information and the data came from. So if there's any statistics that you just absolutely don't want to take my word for it and don't believe it, that's why a lot of times I'll quote sources such as, I'm going to keep saying it, that at the present moment, Black enterprise and entrepreneur, those two reliable sources, say that at the present moment, there is only a 2% representation of Black people as millionaires. 2%. So we got to make the connection and the correlation between our spending habits, because we do have, as of the statistics and data shown from 2021, Black people were number 3 in buying power in America. We have $1.6 trillion of buying power. Yet I say it, and I will continue to say it, we're obviously not using those dollars to create generational wealth like we're talking about and saying out of our mouth, because we only represent 2% of the millionaire population.
Uh-huh.
So that means we're not using our dollars to create wealth. We are ultra huge, big time, mega consumers. We are one of the best groups of people as far as making products number one in sales. I
Wow.
don't know if I can say it any clearer than that. We want to talk about tonight and really get into some things that we have discussed and just kind of brainstormed and just knocked around and kicked the can down the street. Just some things as far as how can we break and begin breaking the generational poverty mindset. And so one of the things that I came up with, we're going to talk about 8 things, but we're going to get into something else too. That Deja was like, we need to talk about that. I'm letting you know right now, we need to talk about it. Are we going to talk about that tonight? I said, yeah,
I did ask that.
you
Yes.
know, because you said we're going to talk about it tonight. So y'all better stick around because, hey, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to go there. And look at here. Look, what I would be leery of is when somebody ain't telling me the truth.
Yeah.
That's when I would be looking cockeyed and sideways, like, why you pandering to me? Why you lying to me? Why you glossing things over with this shade of, well, maybe it could be, there's a
Yeah.
possibility, and if you work hard, anything, all things are possible. Oh, girl, child, keep waiting on God, cause God is gonna pandering to me, man. Tell
Yeah.
me the truth.
Yeah.
If my leg is broke, tell me my leg broke. Don't tell me, well, your leg has just slightly parted in a place, that is possibly, a place that could, cause a little bit of disruption to your life. No, my leg broke. Don't
Well,
pander to me, man.
well,
Lie.
James, I'm over here thinking you said that someone's like, well, why does it have to be so long? But they ain't got no problem sitting in front of a television watching a baseball or basketball game, football game for 2 hours. They watch a reality show.
And all
They
that's just
watch
entertainment.
other podcasts that is not, I mean, entertainment,
Yeah.
more for entertainment than, anything
We're talking
else.
about things that can
They don't
change
have a
your
problem
life.
watching those.
Absolutely. And we're talking about stuff that can literally change your life and the future of
Yeah.
your the life of your children and your posterity. We're talking about things that can make a difference.
Yes.
Not tomorrow, not next week, but just like Jesus said, it said the Holy Spirit, it said in the Bible, it said the Holy Spirit said that the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. The day that you hear something that's of
Yes.
truth and that's of substance that can
Hmm.
add value to your life, why would you harden your heart against it just because the
Yeah.
dude slammed his pen on the table and he yelled and he screamed?
That will tell me that that person is passionate about.
Absolutely.
They're passionate about
Absolutely.
it. That's
So check
that's what I
this
would
out.
take from it.
Before Deja come up and Will Smith slap you, I want to tell you 8 things, and we're going to have a discussion about it that we can talk about. We feel that has significance to breaking the generational poverty mindset. Number one is conflict resolution and problem solving. People that are wealthy and that are well to do financially and they are stable in their finances, they can better handle conflict and they work on resolutions to solving problems because they understand that when you engage yourself in a bunch of drama and arguing and all of this other stuff going back and forth, you're wasting the time and wasting energy and focus and things that you could be devoting and putting into things that can create income streams for yourself. So wealthy people, they're not taking a lot of time out of their day engaging in all of this. If anything, they work on their problem solving and resolution skills so that they can continue to make sure that they don't have certain problems in their relationships. Because I'm telling you, y'all know that when
Hmm.
you arguing and fighting among the two of y'all back and forth and y'all can't get along and all that drama in a relationship, it does create an environment where creativity gets stifled, where where well, go ahead, DJ, you take it from here because I'm about to start preaching. Turn to the
No.
book of
No, you're right. And I'm even thinking about it from an employer standpoint. You
Yeah.
know, even when things happen, you know, we try to dead it right then and there because I've had situations that have come up and it's like, look, we're going to deal with this because at the end of the day, it's not adding any value to the job. It's not adding any
Absolutely.
value to the company. And if I have to get involved, you tying up my time from being able to do things that can add value to the company.
The
And
company.
you know, we've heard it down and through the years. My time is money.
Mm,
That's true. Time is money. But like you say, most wealthy people, people who are driven towards success, they're not going to get bogged down with nonsense.
absolutely.
Don't have time for it. Too
Yeah.
busy trying to make some moves.
Yeah. They're too busy trying to make moves. That can
Too
really,
busy trying to
yeah,
make moves.
absolutely. So
You
this
know.
here is something that if you take business management courses in college, a part of your curriculum is going to be in conflict resolutions
Hmm.
and all of that problem solving. You're going to have classes in that kind of type of thing, especially if you're going into business administration management and those types of degrees and career paths. So
Yeah,
this is
because
something that I think is important.
you can't dodge it. You can't ignore it. Like they say, the pink elephant in the room. You just gonna go da 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 da. No, because the longer you ignore it, the more it festers.
Yes.
Sometimes it's best to just deal with it head on and move past it.
People with a poverty mindset have conflict and they won't let it go. And rather than seek to resolve it, they want to seek to be the victor and hurt somebody else so that they can prove that they won a
Hmm.
conflict. But
Yeah.
people that's about their money, they about solving and resolving conflict. Look, become good at solving problems and providing solutions. Unresolved problems and stirring up drama and conflict becomes draining and a distraction. The more time you spend putting out fires, the less time and resources you have to direct at the things that continue to add value.
Yeah. Because think about it. It adds no value.
No value.
It's draining. It causes health issues.
Yes,
Now next thing you know is unforgiveness,
that's a
and
good one.
unforgiveness is that's got to be uprooted. It just can create an uncomfortable space.
That's
And
good.
then let's just look at it from a place where if it's now you mad at Sally, y'all getting together for a family function, you mad at her and your kids mad at her. Now Sally and her kids mad at you. Ain't nobody comfortable.
And instead of creating generational wealth, now you're creating generational conflict.
Yeah, and it
So
happens too much.
it happens way too much. So number one is get good at conflict resolution and problem solving.
Hmm.
Number two, you said it, Deidre. Time is money. Time is a valuable currency. Time is a valuable currency. Rich people, this is something, a quote that Myron Golden said: rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people value money more than they value time.
Wow. Wow. Why is that you think, James?
I think it's because you can't get time back when it's gone.
When it's
If you
gone,
lose the money,
yesterday is gone.
yes. If you lose
Yesterday is
the money,
gone,
you can get the money back.
but you can't get the time back.
You get time back.
Mm-mm. And then you left with a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas.
Woulda, shoulda, couldas. And I'm telling you right now, wealthy people don't live in a place of regret.
Mm-mm.
You say, well, James, how would you know? You ain't wealthy yet, but I'm going to be.
I
Trust me.
know. Yeah.
I'll keep
Yep.
watching the podcast.
I'm on that path.
I'll keep watching the podcast. You feel
I'm
me?
on that path. Yes.
Time
Yep.
is time is valuable.
Mhm.
Time is your best friend or it's going to be your enemy if you don't start investing and making. I'm about to get on one of our other ones. I ain't going to. Time can be your friend or it can be your enemy. It's one of the greatest assets that you have that can be on your side if you start investing your money now.
Mhm.
Time is very valuable. Time is more valuable than interest rates. Time is more valuable than trying to earn more money. Time is more valuable. It's one of the major components of investing and creating wealth. Time. When you have it, it's like gold. It's like currency. When you don't have it, it's like a death sentence.
Yeah. Because and I'm thinking like this, James, too. It's like why put off to today, why put off tomorrow what you can do today, right?
Yes,
So it's like you got to start somewhere, but you have to have a made up mind that you're going to do it and you're going to stick to it, and then you're not going to regret it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Time is very important.
Hmm.
And it can also leave you, as you just said, Deja, it can leave you at a place where you don't have any regrets when you use it to your advantage.
Hmm.
So, breaking the poverty mindset, breaking the generational poverty mindset, number one is get good at conflict resolution and
Hmm.
problem solving. And number two, time is a valuable currency. Number
That's good.
three, the obsession to grow, learn, and be better doesn't leave or dissipate because you reached your goal. You just develop another one, another goal. So you never just reach a goal and run out of goals and that's it. You like there's a pinnacle or point of success that you're trying to accomplish. You get there and then it's just you sit down and say, I'm done now. That's not how
That's
wealthy
not
people
reality.
think. In fact, wealthy people, I'm talking about wealthy people. I'm not
Hmm.
talking about some folk that you might know that work at the factory in the plant that make good money. I'm talking about wealthy people. They never retire. They never retire.
Hmm.
The obsession to grow and learn and get better never dissipates or leaves. Ooh, I just hit a nerve with Deja. I saw it on her face because I know I don't want to. I hate using the term workaholic because she's not a workaholic. She is motivated by vision. She is motivated by her purpose, and that's what I'm talking about. It's an obsession to grow and keep learning and getting better. She never
Hmm.
gets to a point where it's like, oh, I reached a goal, I'm done now. No,
Hmm.
and maybe you can explain that better, Deja. With even you and I were talking earlier about the next facility that you guys are in process of building right now,
Yeah.
and how you're so passionate about the purpose and the mission of what you're trying to get accomplished.
Yeah. And that is something that the Lord had dropped in my spirit some time ago. It's called it's called the 723 vision.
Hmm.
So the reason why I use that is my birthday is July the 23rd.
Wow.
So I had put it before the Lord and I said I want to have something established by July of 2023. Now, James, let me tell you this one particular day, I would drive the same route every day, dropping my daughter in law off. This was when her and my son were living in Davison. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, "Look to the right." And I looked over, and it was like a building that was there that I had never seen before.
Hmm.
I would drive this route every day. So as I dropped her off, I came back up, and I have the photos on my phone.
Wow.
So I looked, I was like, let me check this out. This is before COVID and everything. I think back in 2018 or something like that
Hmm.
was when I first noticed this building. I tried to do some research to see who owned it, wasn't able to find out who owned it because I wanted to see if it was up for sale. Long
Yeah.
story short, somebody purchased it due to taxes or whatever. So I I continued to drive this route. One day I drove it and there was a for sale sign in the yard. So I told my husband, I said, that building that I was looking at is for sale. So he and I made contact to see, what they wanted for it. Got a realtor involved, and basically we end up purchasing the building. So that is the building that we are working with the architect and the builder to get redone, reconstructed, additions and things put on there so that that we can open up a 20-bed facility. But being that we have that model, my goal is to take that particular model and duplicate it and open up at least four or five more of those facilities throughout somewhere in different counties in Michigan. It's a very unique model, so that is the plan.
And without getting too much into your personal situation, the kind of stuff that is too private to put out, in a public forum, is even as you create this level of cash flow through your business, right?
Hmm.
That helps you to sustain a certain level of lifestyle. Even with that, you still understand the importance of having some of your dollars continue to work for you while you're still creating cash flow. So, without
Yeah.
necessarily going into any specific details per se, because some things are private, and I wouldn't even want you to even do that, can you find a way to express to those that may watch this particular podcast show that even though you have great cash flow, great earnings, all of that is there and is even increasing, you still understand that you need to do something else to 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 create this wealth and sustain it, and kind of what would that be? I mean, I'm talking about investments and stuff like that, but I don't know. Did I ask the question where it makes
Yeah.
sense?
Well, for me, what I look at is ideally, I want any facility that I operate to be able to stand alone, right? So
Hmm.
if I've got a facility over here, depending on how many beds it is, whether it's a 6 bed, 12 bed, 20 bed, that facility in itself needs to be able to stand on its own, cash
Yeah.
flow wise, cover payroll expenses, cover other expenses, plus net a profit. And the way I do that is
Hmm.
I will pretty much, if it's a startup, I will sustain it and support it for the first 6 months up and running. After that, it has to be able to, be able to stand by itself and alone because I know it takes time to get the individual clients. I know all of that stuff. You do it the marketing early, but you don't want to do it too early. You do the
Hmm.
onboarding for staff early, but you don't want to do it too early. So everything has a time frame. So you don't want to go advertising now hiring if your doors are not going to open for another 6 months because you run the risk of losing good candidates. So everything has to be done in a systematic way. So what
Yeah.
I do is once it's open, I will support it. I may say, okay, well, this particular location is going to adopt and support this location for the first 6 months.
Got you.
That may mean being able to pull funds and utilize it because down and through the years, I've never really did anything outside of start that initial investment. Remember when I
Hmm.
pulled my 401k out?
Hmm.
Everything I've had up until when COVID hit, everything was zero. There were zero debts owed. So
Hmm.
everything was based off of that one time initial investment.
Yes.
All the
Got
businesses from Michigan to Ohio all was supported by that one initial investment. And I can tell you that was $11,000.
hmm.
And I've made that and continue to make that many times over, right? But I'm
Yes.
saying this is, and as I open up other models, I've got some people that I know that are in the field who've expressed wanting to come into business with me as we begin to develop the other models because I recognize that I may not want to do that big venture by myself because we're looking at a 5 year time frame to open up the additional models.
Got you.
Yep.
So even if, let's just hypothetically, I'm going to throw out this number.
Hmm.
So don't nobody say, well, oh my God, she makes that. No, I'm just throwing out a random number just as an illustration to the question. So even if, let's just say in an annual period of time, 12 months, you pull in profits of 500,000. right? Let's just throw that number out there.
Okay.
You pulled in profits of 500,000. Some of that naturally is going to get reinvested, right? Say you had some reinvestment back in the business, but let's talk about if you just had cleared 500,000 after reinvesting into the businesses and everything, 500,000 clear. You still got to do something with that, right?
Hmm.
Can't just go bury it in your backyard, to hide it or stick it in a safe somewhere, or what I'm saying. So you still understand what's the mindset that you have to say, okay, even after I make a profit, even though I got great cash flow, and by all practical purposes, people can say, okay, I'm rich, quote unquote. But even if you pulled in 500 grand a year, you still got to do something with that money, right?
Right.
So speak to us from a business owner's mindset of what's that level? What does that look like when you got cash flow coming in? What are you doing with it? Are you just partying all the time? Are you just having
No.
jamborees and jubilees? Right?
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? If you're
No.
gonna reach wealth, what are you doing after creating all of that profit? Then what?
Right. For me, after creating all that profit, and if it's there, I have a high interest bearing account that I allow the money to sit in. That's what I do. I allow
That's
the
what
money.
I'm getting at.
I allow the money to sit in a high interest bearing account that I have to check that for you, James, but it sits there. And
And it
I
grows.
allow it to sit there so that it can grow, but also too, if there are things that I know, okay, well, this will be a good investment, like for instance,
Because you
we
sent
have,
me one, remember?
pardon me?
You sent me one, remember? You sent me one of the things that you invested in.
Yes. And right now, we have an opportunity to get into some other things related to the business because
Hmm.
there's a market for it right now. And I had talked to my husband. I said, look, I said, you know, once I put this out there, this email out there to some people I'm already working with, they're going to expect this to happen quick. I
Yep.
said, can you or do we think it's feasible to purchase two new buses, right, or two buses right now? Because I've put it out there and now I'm getting bombarded with calls and emails.
Hmm.
Hey, I got a couple people. We've lost a provider who was doing this there. Can you take this on? And I told him I will let you know on Friday because my husband's like, get me the numbers. It's got to make sense.
Yes. And is it or is it not true that you and your husband, especially on his side, into real estate?
Yes, yep. Yes, yes, yes. My husband, he's more so into the real estate end.
Where my pen at so I can slam my pen down?
He's more into the real estate end.
So
And
what I'm showing everybody is, and don't mean to cut you off, DJ,
no.
because I want to jump this in real quick and then come right back and let you finish that.
Mm,
Is they are still investing. Remember the two things that I said? The two best components to create wealth, sustain it, and also create cash flow, tax advantages, blah, 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 blah. We won't get into all of that tonight. Real estate and investing.
mhm,
So even if you got a business and you doing well and you got major cash flow and streams of income coming in, you still got to do something
yeah.
with that extra money to make it grow for you. Because guess what? Have you seen the consumer price index lately? You know what the inflation numbers are? The Fed just raised interest rates today. You cannot out earn inflation.
Hmm.
You have to invest and create assets that grow in value
Hmm.
to outpace inflation. Cash flow is a benefit from it. Cash flow is a benefit from real
Hmm.
estate. The tax stuff is a benefit from real estate. The cash flow is a benefit of the business, but you still got to create something on top of that. In addition to that, man, y'all gonna I can hear it in
Yeah.
like people saying he crazy. He don't know what he talking about. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. You got to create something and put something, a system, a portfolio together that helps to sustain that wealth
Yes.
and keep it growing past inflation. You're not If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the economy. That's why this show exists. Look, the Fed, they just said today they are forecasting that by the end of 2023, they are forecasting that they can get inflation down to 3.62%, right? So let's just say that happens and they're able to do it. You still have to create a portfolio, something, investments in appreciable, I can't even talk, appreciable assets, things that can grow and outpace inflation.
Yes.
That's how you create sustainable wealth that can be passed through legacy
Hmm.
to the next generation. Oh my God, I don't even know if people believe me because yeah, I just sometimes I think that it's just like prove it. Okay, prove it. All right, I'm gonna prove it. Y'all just keep watching the podcast, and you give me 10 years, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna pop some papers and some documents and data because I am planning. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm
Hmm.
telling you, if you want to outpace inflation, you cannot do it through earnings because
Mm-mm.
the value of your earnings erode, and the consumer price index was over 8%. The
Yep.
prices of things are going up.
Yep.
It means that you're going to need more dollars to afford the same things right now today.
Yep.
You're going to need more dollars to afford that same thing in the future because of inflation. So you cannot out earn inflation just because you got a high income.
Hmm.
You got to do it with investments, with appreciable assets like real estate. Those are the two best components. I feel like I just exhausted. I just throw my notes away. Just throw my notes away. Come on, DJ. Finish what you said, girl. Just help me out.
Yep.
DJ, I need you to help me tonight. I need you to help me.
So you were on number three. What's number four?
Oh, number four. This is something that Kobe Bryant said in an interview with Patrick Bet Davis. And I had to reword it because the way he said it was in like a story form. But this is the gist of what he said in the interview. When people don't have, ooh, DJ, you're going to like this one. When people don't have the passion and obsession to get to a certain level, rather than seek to understand it, they will discredit it and try to tear that level down. That's what poor people do.
Sounds
They
familiar.
complain about who is successful and who's rich. And rather than try to understand that level, they discredit it and tear it down.
Hmm. Oh, there go so and so. They think they all that, or he think he all that. Look at him. Oh, he act like he better than us, and that don't even be the case, cause he ain't thinking about you. What he thinking
So
about is
DJ,
he thinking about his investments. He ain't
have
thinking
y'all
about
watched,
you.
have y'all watched half of these old guys and women on interviews and YouTube? Just go and randomly YouTube just interviews where people are interviewing wealthy people. They dress half the time like bums. They ain't flashy.
Nope. Nope.
Did you remember that Facebook post that you sent me about not being flashy and everything? Do you still have that?
Which one?
The one about
I've been sending you a
wealthy
lot.
people not being flashy, and you remember that you sent it to me on
I
Facebook.
did I inbox it to you or did I
I think you
share it?
tagged me in it or
I
something.
tagged you in
You
it.
remember that?
What did it say, Jay?
I can't remember. That's why I was hoping you could find it and pull it
Let
up.
me see.
About
Let's see.
yeah, because I'm telling you right now, wealthy people, rich people, they ain't all flashy and stuff.
Mm-mm.
The things that we're talking about tonight, the one, two, three, four, five, and we got eight of them, is because I remember what my mindset was. And it was directly related to the fact that I was struggling. And I had to, because when you're struggling, man, you can know all the skills and tactics and everything in the book, but when you're struggling, it just does something to your mindset.
Oh yeah.
Then when
It's
you start getting your mindset back right, you're able to pull yourself up out of that situation and condition when you start switching your mindset over. Romans 12, right? Be ye
Yes.
transformed by the renewing of your mind. And
Yes.
then you start getting your mindset together. And guess what? Everything else starts following. I
Yes.
got a job. I was working five, six, seven jobs at one
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, you get your mindset right. God can bless you
Oh,
with
praise
something that
God.
can, you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
can show enough bless you. Y'all
Yes.
see,
Yes.
some of y'all know about being blessed, but then
Oh,
some of
yes.
y'all know about being show enough blessed. Can I get somebody out there in YouTube and Facebook land and throw your hands up if you know about what it means to be show enough blessed?
You better say that. So,
And that's what
James, was
God
it?
did for me. You find it?
Yeah, was it where when I said appearance is
Yes.
important, but people would rather look rich but be broke? It's time we build wealth. So tune in into the Working People's Podcast.
Yeah, say that one again. Read it one more time for the folk in
It
the back.
says for the folk in the back. It says here,
Yeah.
appearance is important, but people would rather look rich but be broke.
And you remember what I said when I
What
was
you
talking
say?
to you when you said that? I said, big hat, no cattle. That's what they say
Yes,
in Texas.
yes,
Big hat,
yes,
no
yes.
cattle. You got a big old cowboy hat, no cattle.
No cattle.
Big hat, no cattle.
Yes.
That's number four. Number
All right.
five, reading books. If you want to break the generational poverty mindset, you got to read books. There was a study done in a book, Tom Corley, about rich habits. He said that 85% of millionaires read two or more education, career related, or self improvement books per month. Oh,
Yes.
you pull some books out?
Yeah, these are the books I tagged you in earlier. I mean, when I texted them to you.
Yes, you did.
Yes, this is the Testament of Solomon, and we know he was
Mhm.
the richest person
Wisest man in
ever.
the world.
Well, yeah, through
Wisest
wisdom.
man in the world. Hey, I never showed you a picture of my library, did you? And
Mm-mm.
I just got me another library bookshelf so I can add more books because I had ran out of room. I got a lot
Wow.
of books. I don't
Yeah.
even know how many I got. I
Hmm.
don't keep track of them, but I got a lot of books and a lot of different subjects and topics.
Well, these
Study
ones I
material,
actually
research
pulled out of
material.
my backpack. I said I gotta put these up, so I pulled those out of my backpack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of the books I'm reading right now is by Arlen Washington,
Okay.
and it's called, y'all forgive me, y'all don't say, that's a church man, he cussing. But the name of the book is It's About Damn Time. And it's a
Mm.
phenomenal book, what I'm reading right now.
Mm.
Phenomenal. I mean, if you want to look up, go and find some interviews. She's got people that are interviewing her on YouTube and stuff. Her name is Arlen Washington.
Okay.
Arlen, Arlan, I believe is how you spell her first name, and Washington, I believe that's her name. But
Okay.
man, oh my God, she was dropping so many nuggets in about 2 or 3 minutes of an interview. I just had to put that joker on pause and start writing notes. That's phenomenal the way her mind, was processing information and the way she thinks and sees some things, man. It's just phenomenal. But what do you have to say about that? 85% of millionaires read books of some type of self help or educational material, 2 books per month on
Right.
average.
Right. I think because they're constantly you know, making sure they're staying sharp for one, right?
Mm-hmm,
They want to stay
mm-hmm.
sharp. We want to, like we had said a couple podcasts ago, you don't have to reinvent things, but you want to continue to evolve.
Yes.
We're in a technology era. Things
Mm-hmm.
is constantly changing. There is no one person who knows it all. We
Absolutely.
can gather information from one another. We can share information with others. So you want to continue to grow your knowledge. You want to continue to do that, and the best way to do it is, not just always watching videos, not just always googling stuff, but pick up a book and read a book.
Yes.
It's like some people have gotten away from that, but sounds like the that's why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor.
What you say now? Number 6. This is something else that Kobe Bryant said in that same interview with Patrick Bet David. Now I had to modify it again, once again, because it's like a story. He told it in the version of a story, but in the nutshell, the gist of it was work on your weaknesses. If you want to break the the generational poverty mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Work on your weaknesses, not
That's
just
good.
your strengths. Because guess what? People that just work on their strengths, they don't improve and get better. Kobe Bryant told a story about he was 13 years old and he would play in AAU games and other things like that. And while he was playing with people that he felt like he was better than. But what he would do, he would go into these games with players and he would work on his weaknesses. He would play to his weaknesses. So if he knew his left hand was weak, he would just start playing and working on his left hand. Now he may lose, right? But he was working on his weaknesses. So then when he got to the high school level and he started getting into another level, 4 or 5 years later, now he's 17 or 18 years old,
He
and now he's
mastered it.
back on the circuit, AAU circuit, playing them same players that only been with playing with their strengths because all they concerned about is winning and the right now. There's something we talk about a lot on this podcast called delayed gratification. Some people want to win so bad, they just jump in because right now they're better than everybody else, but they're not working on their weaknesses. So
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant said now all of a sudden, 5 years later, he's playing those same players and he's killing them
Wow.
because he's worked on his game and a full repertoire and he strengthened his weaknesses. So people who are wealthy, business people, they know they got weaknesses. So
Mm-hmm.
they work on them.
Yep.
So that those weaknesses don't become a hindrance to success. Right there, we can shut the whole show down. Because right there, the stuff that we're talking about tonight has the capabilities of giving you the mindset that you need to break off you and your family the generational curses that's been keeping you in lack and poverty. That right there in itself is worth $1,000.
Yes.
That little bit right there. Work on your weaknesses
Mm-hmm.
so they won't become a hindrance
That's
to
good.
your success. That right there will make you wealthy. That right there can put $1 million in your pocket if you adapt that mindset. Say it to yourself when you wake up in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. I'm going to work today on my weaknesses so they will not become a hindrance to my future success. Work on that because right there, that will
That's good.
begin to change and strip off these old dead thoughts that you may be having about yourself not being capable and able to do certain things because of the neighborhood that you grew up in or the family that you grew up in because you came from a broken home or a single parent home, whatever the case may be. If you work on your weaknesses, I guarantee you right now, tonight, as you're listening to this podcast, if you
Mm-hmm.
work on your weaknesses, they will not become a hindrance to your future success. That is, woo, Deidre, go ahead, talk to me now. Because
That
I'm
is
up here
good.
preaching. Let the church say amen.
Yes, that is good because it will plague you, like you say, because oftentimes, you allow that weakness to take total control of you. We have to
Mm-hmm.
begin to dominate, those things, whether it's, you know different type of habits we have,
Right.
getting up late, showing up to a job interview with an attitude.
Yes.
We have to begin to dominate those things that the enemy is really controlling us with. And like you say, having that poverty mindset, you know at some point you got to say, I don't want to live like this. I
Mm-hmm.
deserve better. I want my kids to have better. And I'm here to tell you, it does not mean your kids having better is that the fact that they got the latest Jordans. That's
Yeah.
not what better is.
Come on.
That's not what better is. I want my kids to be able to be raised in a better neighborhood. I want them to be able to have access to better schools. I want them to be able to do the things that I was not able to do. Because it's got to start somewhere, James. It's got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Mm-hmm.
man thinketh, so is he.
Yes.
And like I told you earlier, the Lord dropped it in my spirit. People are not a product of their environment, they are a product of their mindset.
Yes. So
That's
go ahead
what
and talk about point
that's
number
what's
8. Come
plaguing
on,
people.
girl. Come on.
That's what's plaguing our people.
Yes.
Because I've been telling James, and a lot of people may not like this or they may not understand it. The Claudine concept.
Ooh, go ahead, go there. I'm
What's
gonna
the
go ahead and
Claudine
say this
concept? Go ahead and sip
concept.
on your Gatorade. The
Mm-hmm.
Claudine concept is, you know, it was about a movie back in 1974 where a single woman, and as I began to look more, she was married at one point. Well, anyway, she was left behind with 6 kids. She was married twice,
Yep,
left
married.
behind with six
Yep.
kids,
But
living
then
in a high
also the
rise.
other two kids, Deisha, remember she said I was married twice, and then she said then I had two other times when I was something. So she had two kids by first one marriage, two kids by another marriage, and then two children by two other fathers of two entanglements. We call them entanglements.
Entanglement. So she had 4 baby daddies,
Basically, that's
two
how I
of
interpret
which
it.
two of which she was married to.
Yep.
She worked as a maid or a cleaning woman.
Yep.
And what happened was there was a guy who came along, which was her Prince Charming. A lot of these women have the Claudine syndrome theory to where they think that a man is going to come along and save them. But we must understand that the kids didn't like him. The kids gave him a hard time. They felt as though if they ran him away, they would have mama to themselves, I guess. And I don't know how far you got in the movie, James, but looked like the kids was between the ages of 17 and probably 6.
Mm,
And the daughter ended up pregnant.
mm,
The oldest girl ended up pregnant because she told the mama, "Well, mama, I'm a woman too." Yep, she was a woman. She was sneaking around with some guy. She got pregnant too. And just so it happened, James Earl Jones, he was the in the picture as he was a garbage man, so he had a good job. He comes along and he see how beautiful and fine she is.
mm.
But what did the friend tell him, James? What the friend tell him when he told the friend he was digging on her?
Oh, I forgot. You gotta remind me.
I want to say he said something like, her with all them kids,
Something like that, yeah.
with all them kids. And then we can't forget that she was hiding from the caseworker who would come by the house.
Had him
You
hiding
know,
in the closet
had
on
him
one
hiding in
side
the closet
so she
because
won't
if
lose
the case she
benefits.
would lose her benefits. They lied to the social worker. You know, he buying her irons. You can't even show the social worker the gifts that this man done bought you
Yeah.
because that's going to jeopardize your benefits.
And wasn't it one scene where he went down or was talking to the caseworker or something like that?
Yeah, he
Was
went to the
cut him off
welfare
too.
office
It
with her.
was, yeah, potentially going to cut her off, and he was like, "We can't even get ahead," you know. So what?
Cause over here, he gets served with child support papers from previous kids that he had. He wasn't paying child support on. The
Right?
Claudine theory.
Come on.
You know, a lot of people tend to think that it's going to be this person who's going to just come in and rescue a single mother with her 6 kids. I don't know if that man exists, James. Her 6 kids and 4 baby daddies.
Hey, if you're out there, brother, put your name in the comment section, and we'll give you some referrals.
We, there's nothing wrong with wanting more or wanting better.
Absolutely.
But at what point do you say, no, I'm not going to keep having kids until, you know, the right man come along? I don't know what to say, James. You know, and I can speak on this because I was married to my first husband and I had 2 kids from that marriage, James.
Mm,
I have a son with my current husband. You know, we have a blended family. So I know what it's like to raise kids with a stepfather in the home and have a blended family.
mm-hmm.
But, you know, to say that a man is going to come along and take a woman, you know, with her 6 kids and move them out of the projects, you know, this day and age, uh, God be the glory, because I mean, you know, that was back in 1974.
Ooh, Jesus.
I'll tell you what, the closet, that's that poverty mindset.
Oh, God.
That's having that. At what point do we break it?
I got one thing I don't want to miss, because you hit it and you touched on it, but I don't want it to get lost in translation or move the goalposts too far where it gets skipped over and it doesn't get highlighted. And this is the point I want to highlight. You said you had a first husband, right?
Yes.
You had two children in that marriage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Your present. I'm just reiterating some facts, and then I'm gonna make my point. I want to highlight.
Oh, go ahead.
Your current husband, you had a child by him in a blended family, right?
Yes.
All things she just said. Now, in your first marriage, were you and your husband on the same page with your financial goals?
We were not.
We were not. Whoop, don't go no
Nope.
further. Don't go
Nope.
no further. In your current marriage, is seeing the results of success that you're having and he's having, are you and your current husband on the same level when it comes to your purpose and your plans
Oh,
and your
yes.
goals?
Yes. Yes. We definitely in line.
Oh, I'm highlighting. I'm hitting it. There I come. Will Smith slapping you right in the face. I'm highlighting it. I said it earlier in this podcast, not knowing that Deisha was going to mention that. It does make a difference, and it is a relevant topic to talk about and discuss. That in a relationship, you guys got to be able to merge and come together and coexist and have this thing where it's cohesiveness in the terms of what your goals are financially. Because once again, the statistic is 86% of millionaires are married, and the ones that create this wealth are able to bring some synergy, have the synergistic energy in that relationship, right? You say, well, who are these people and where they at? Well, call up Dave Ramsey and ask him, and call up Danko and Stanley, and I forgot their names. The guys that wrote The Millionaire Next Door, and ask them in their surveys, and call up Tom Corley and ask him because he surveyed some folk that were rich and millionaires and ask them as well. But I guarantee you that if you are fighting and struggling, look, I got the statistic. I pulled it up. I can't pull it up on my phone right now, so I'm going to try to quote it from memory. I posted something on my personal Facebook page probably a month or two ago,
Okay.
and it was about 64 or something like 64% of, I think it was Gen Xers, said that their marriage failed, and it was directly related to conflicts over money.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
One of the major conflicts right there.
Money, communication.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, first marriage, they wasn't on the same page and couldn't make the financial. But second one, and boy, are they excelling, and it's exponential growth as a result of the two of them being in harmony together. I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm trying to hope you tonight, when you can come in partnership and harmony with somebody, there is a synergistic, there is some type of ex extra what's the word, extraterrestrial terrestrial spirit or something that happens. There's a blessing in the unity. The Bible says that where unity is, God commands a blessing. There is a blessing on the unity, right? And
Hmm.
because of that, it's like it opens the door of creativity. It opens up all of these other magnitudes. Now you say, well, James, you went through it with your doggone Skippy. I sure enough did. That's why I'm talking like I'm talking and trying to tell you what I'm telling you. Because I know when you don't have that synergy, it causes everything to be like hard.
Hmm.
But when you got the synergy, the business decisions start, the wisdom that you need start being clear. Am I talking good?
Yes. Yeah.
Talking better than that like button. Ain't nobody pressed the like. Oh, I see a like. I see some like on it now.
Yeah, because you know what? I don't make a business decision without consulting him.
Right, right, right. Two, there's another scripture, and I think it's in Ecclesiastes. It talks about two are better than one.
Hmm.
One, he can't warm himself. That man, y'all need to get in your Bible. You need to read the whole Bible. Read the whole thing. Don't just read the parts that make you feel better about your mess.
Yep. No, no.
Read
Look, look. them prosperity scriptures, huh?
Just the prosperity scriptures. You know what? Claudine, you already might get canceled. You up in here talking about Claudine and you waiting on the garbage man,
To
the
come
white man,
rescue her and her 6 kids
girl.
or her 4 baby daddies. Y'all, please don't cancel us. We mean well.
We love you.
We just
This,
trying to help you.
I ain't even really yelled at nobody tonight. So I've
No,
been
you
real
did not.
good. And Decia's over here. Yes, that's her. Well, wrong. That's her. Where her, that's her.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I like James Earl Jones and I like Diane Carroll too. Well, he talking about her Diane with sick kids and didn't want to lose her benefits, so she's sneaking around with the man and hiding them in the closet. Ain't nobody doing that stuff in real life. Y'all, I'll be right back. Hold on.
James. Yes. But
Okay,
yeah,
here.
you guys.
I'm back now.
James, don't get us shut down, James.
Since you already hit number 8, which was people are not a product of their environment, they are a product of their thoughts. Proverbs 23:7 and 8.
Yes.
So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Number 7 should have been earning money to spend money rather than how can I make my money earn more money for me? That's another thing from Myron Golden. So listen, this is something, Leisure, I think is important for us to bring up. And if Claudine didn't get us canceled this night,
If the Claudine theory did,
yeah,
okay, go ahead. We just gonna be praying.
we're gonna be praying.
We gonna be praying that the Lord keep us on.
The views might be real low tonight after this. Views at least might be low.
Uh, So this finna be on him. Go ahead. What you got?
Why is the divorce rate so low in the black community?
The divorce rate is high, isn't it?
I mean, the divorce rate is being so high and marriage is low. Why? Why is the divorce rate so high and marriage rate so low? Maybe maybe you got an answer for it, or maybe somebody will see this part of the podcast and drop some comments.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think. We need to have these hard discussions because guess what? There is a direct connection with marriage and relationships and the union of the relationship and wealth and building financial legacy.
Well, James, as we're just thinking, no pun intended about the Claudine, we have to do some research and find out when did the benefit the welfare system come into existence. Has it always been there? Because that could be a reason that has stifled the black community from seeking to be married, because 9 times out of 10 it's harder to receive those benefits if you have a spouse in the house.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that could be a correlation to why we see so many single parents. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but that's what I would think could possibly be a contributing factor to, you know, that.
Well, we would love to have this conversation on future podcasts, especially if we can get some people to say that they want to be a part of the discussion that we want to have on family. The family being the foundation for generational wealth. Why are we so far behind? And it's like people would rather you talk about the unicorns and the possibility and oh Jesus, the church, y'all disappoint me. I'm just telling you. And I love the Lord. I love the Lord. And
Mhm.
church sometimes just flat out disappoint me with the should I say it, Deja?
Say it because it needs to be said.
With the pandering and the whole prosperity and just the sugar. and the sugar and just not
Not
just
just being honest, just not telling the people the truth. You're not telling the people what they need to hear to break some things off of their lives.
it's not helping.
You know, it's hindering, and God ain't pleased with that, James.
It's not
He's not
helping.
pleased with that because
I'll
God is
see,
gonna come back and He gonna visit the church because
I'll see
you know because the church should not be looking like the world. I'm sorry.
yeah, and I don't see, and I'm gonna say this in a very delicate way. I'm gonna be real delicate because I can be diplomatic as well, even though I can be dogmatic also. But I'll see this whole idea of uh, gender roles and the social construct of gender roles, right? And how it shouldn't be where men shouldn't feel like this social pressure on them to be providers. But there are scriptures in the Bible that supports. There's, it talks about if a man don't work, he ought not eat. If a man doesn't take care and provide for his family, he's worse than the infidel. I can go on and on and on, right? So it's a biological thing inside of men to provide, to want to be providers. Now, that level of provision does not necessarily mean that in terms of his earning capacity or his current earnings that he's going to be out earning the woman. I'm not
Hmm.
referring to that. I'm just talking about there is a disconnect in between what a man can earn or what he is earning and his sexual attractiveness to women, right?
Hmm.
So therefore, gentlemen, and not trying to offend anybody, if you're not really earning what seems to be, that's why the swag and the look, and like you said, the appearance of it seems to be more attractive than the actual substance of it. So, gentlemen, it seems to be this thing where if you're not raising your game up to the level of being able to be a provider, you know, it's sometimes we find that later in life. It's
Hmm.
difficult for young men to come out of high school if they don't go to college, you know, to really connect in a career path, where he can begin to earn a decent level of income to take on a marriage and family. However, one thing that's disappointing to me that I often see is I'll see people get married and engaged and all this stuff, and everybody's just happy because she finally get married. But it's like, wait a minute, back in the day, you'd have to go see this girl's daddy or somebody and tell him how you gonna take care of this woman,
That's right.
how you gonna provide for her in a legal way, in a legal way. And now it's just like we just happy somebody getting married.
Hmm.
What does he do for a living? I don't know. Where he work at? I don't know. Well, is he able to provide for a family? I don't know. We just happy she getting married.
Right.
So how can we build generational wealth when men we're not being leaders in vision, leaders in following and pursuing our purpose in life, leaders? And now, man, I'm about to get myself in trouble. I said I wasn't going to do it, but how can we really create this generational wealth when we're lacking and lagging behind
Hmm.
in our potential of what we can be because our motivation is not coming from within. It's being motivated by, I just want to find me the prettiest woman that I can. So let me dress myself up to look the part.
Mm.
And there's no substance there.
No.
It's just all sugar, spice, and stuff that looks nice. But the
Hmm.
substance has to be in your character.
That's right.
It has to be in your heart to want to be the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
This See, and people want to just talk about, well, how can I make more money in the stock market? Okay, great. If y'all want to just if you want that to be the content, because I got the knowledge. Nisha is running businesses, working on a 20-bed facility right now. She's doing well. That's all you want to talk about. Okay, let's do it. Let's just talk about the generic basic stuff. But if you ain't changed your mindset, guess what? If you haven't changed your mindset, guess what? Young men, I'm just going to say it, one of the biggest hindrances to being able to build wealth is when you are loose with your genetic seed.
Mm.
Because the minute that you start having multiple BMs, and I'm not talking about bowel movements, it drastically hinders your ability to create financial wealth and legacy. Now, all of y'all that want to try to go and find a rapper, okay, good luck with that because that's not the standard of wealth. Even
Mm.
though social media may make it appear to be. But I'm trying to hope you, young men, if you are undisciplined and unbridled with your ability to abstain yourself and control yourself, you can get yourself in a position and state and condition where all of your resources are going to care for children by different mothers that you have fathered. And that will drastically hinder your ability to create wealth. And
Right.
don't get behind, because the minute you get behind, they can take 65% of your income.
Mm.
Man, I should have about 30 likes on the channel, on the show right now, on that one. 30 likes. Am I lying, Deidre?
No, you speaking true.
And so people want to say, well, the show should just be about, the podcast should just be about investing. I could teach you, I could show you how to day trade. I know how to make money day trading.
Hmm.
I could show you how to day trade. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to create the wealth that you think. I can show you right now how to make about 100, 250 a day trading. Got to be a lot of work you put into it though. How to do technical analysis, and we got videos up about talking about technical
Yep.
analysis on stocks and stuff like that. These can show you how to get your business up and going. But if you out here slinging your seed all over the place, and you got a business and it's cash flowing, hey, when that judge come in with that gavel, you're gonna be paying out a lot of money in child support.
Yeah.
Did I show you? I sent that to you. His name is Damon Green. Damon, you remember what his name was? I might be saying the wrong name. The guy that had the 34 kids.
Yes, you sent that to me, James. Oh my goodness.
Attitude because folks was trying to ask him, well, how you gonna take care, really provide and take care of all the children? He copped a straight up attitude, and he did a Twitter video that I can't even repeat what the man said because he was going off. He
His
was cutting
name
the
was Damon George.
with Damon George. Sorry, Damon Green. If there's a Damon Green out there, I'm sorry. I falsely accused Damon.
36 kids. How many baby? How many BMs?
I think it said nine baby mamas and like 34 children.
And he was glorifying all that.
And he was happy. He was thanking people for helping him out and doing this, that, and that. Yeah, you need help when you got that many kids.
I don't know that many names, James.
Man, look here. I'd be like George Foreman. I just name them Demond Junior 1, Demond Junior 2, Demond Junior. The girls would be Demonda, Demonda, Demonda 1, Demonda 2, Demonda 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to do better.
you got to do better. You got to do better. Hey, if you guys hear this portion of the podcast, really drop some comments and questions and stuff in the comment section. We want to hear from other people. We want
And
to know. We're giving you some solutions. We're not just talking about the problems. We're giving you solutions. Shall we reiterate and pop through them again? Number one, if you want to break the generational poverty mindset, number one, to develop a wealthy mindset, you got to get good at conflict resolution and problem solving. Become good at solving problems and providing solutions. Unresolved problems and stirring up drama and conflict becomes draining and a distraction. The more time you spend putting out fires, the less time and resources you have to direct at the things that continue to add value. Number two, time is a valuable currency. Value time over money. This is something Myron Golden said. Rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people value money more than they value time. Number three, the obsession to grow, learn, and be better doesn't leave or dissipate because you reached a particular goal. Develop another goal. They never lose their passion and obsession to grow, learn, and be better. Number four, when people don't have the passion and obsession to get to a certain level, rather than seek to understand it, they will discredit it and try to tear that level down. Kobe Bryant in an interview with Patrick Bet David. Number five, reading books. 85% of millionaires read two or more educational, career related, or self improvement books per month. 94% of them read news publications, including newspapers and blogs. Your daily habits. This is a quote. Your daily habits. This is by Tom Corley. A quote. Your daily habits will dictate your financial success in life. Tom Corley, the author of Rich Habits. Number six, work on your weaknesses. Another thing that Kobe Bryant said, not just your strengths, because you won't get better. And if you work on your weaknesses, they will not be a hindrance to your future success. Number seven, earning money to spend rather than earning money that you can take that money and learn how to make that money earn more money for you. That's another thing that Myron Golden said. Number eight comes straight from the sister right there, Deja. People are not a product of their environment. So I don't care what kind of background and history that you came from the hood, the north side of St. Louis, that you lived in Normandy or Wellston, that you went to a rundown school with poor curriculum. You are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That is what we're saying. We're offering you solutions. These are solutions to break out of the generational poverty mindset. And if you would heed them, you can experience success and not let your weakness. You know what a weakness is? A weakness is this bad thinking. That's a weakness.
Stinking thinking.
Thinking, stinky thinking, is a weakness. And it is a hindrance to future success. So tonight, I'm going to ask Deja if she got anything that she want to say to wrap it up, and just, go ahead. I got an offering basket over here for you.
No,
Come on.
you did a wonderful job. And again, we're not here to offend anybody. We're here to have these hard discussions and hope that people will begin to, you know, take in consideration the things that we're saying, not just to watch the podcast once, but go through, listen to it again and listen to it again. We're here to provide information. And like James said, if it's something that you guys want us to talk about, drop some comments, let us know. But, James, you did a wonderful job,
Yeah,
as
I got
always.
one correction though, Deja. My mentor, see, my dad, when he passed away, he had cancer. He knew he was going to die. And he asked a really good friend of his to take me in, which he did. Him and his wife, they had just gotten married a few months prior to that. So I was 15 years old when my dad passed away. Reverend Jody Nevels and his wife, IQ Nevels. Even though my mother was still alive, my dad asked Jody Nevels to look after his son when he passed away, and he did. They brought me over to his church. They took me in. They taught me. They bought me my first Bible, my first pair of Stacy Adams. They helped me financially be able to pay for getting through high school and prom and all of that stuff. They also helped me to take piano lessons. I'm a pretty decent pianist, musician, right? They put me in music school with my mentor, LG Scott, paid for the lessons for me to get. And Reverend Neville said that, hey, maybe we need to offend you. And then maybe then you'll do better. So, hey, I don't know if we necessarily mean to offend you, but possibly maybe we need to be here to do just that, to shake some stuff up, to offend some people,
That's
because
right.
maybe that might be the motivation that some of us need to do better.
That's good. That's good. And you're absolutely right, James.
Let the church say,
You
yeah.
just you just trying to what? You just trying to do what for him, James?
Trying to hope you, man. Help other people excel.
That's
That's
it.
all I'm gonna do is hope you. Is hope you. And if you offended and upset about something and disagree with it, guess what? Me and Deja, we want you to come on the podcast and tell us why. And then let's just have a talk.
Yeah.
Let's have a talking conversation. If you think there's a better way to build generational wealth, if you think a better way is just to have a bunch of children and no father in the home, if you think that's a better way, then come on, let's come on the show and let's talk about it. If you think a better way
Mhm.
is going, oh Lord, don't say it. Anyway, but yeah, let's come on the show. Drop your name in the comment section. We'll bring you on. Shucks, if you're listening to the podcast right now, type your name in the comment section. We'll bring you on right now. I'll send you a link. All you need is a laptop computer with a webcam on it. You look in the comment section to see anything. We want you to come on the show. How about Saturday? Come on Saturday. DJ will be back on Saturday. You want to come on the show on Saturday? Tell us if there's a better way. Tell us if there's a better way.
To build
Let us know.
generational wealth.
Yeah, to building generational wealth.
And don't come talking about some cryptocurrency because I ain't trying to hear that. Some pyramid. Look, James, some pyramid schemes. I'm not trying to hear that. I done got done over.
No, you did, girl. No, you did. Or come on and say, I got a better way. Buy low and sell high.
James, you gonna get us kicked off. Oh Jesus.
We
Oh
got a better
Lord.
way. Let's do it. Come on, let's talk about it. You know, and you can't get me with the real estate thing because I already told you that's one of the best ways. I've said it multiple times, haven't I?
Mhm.
You can't get me with that one and the cash flowing. And come, hey, and I'm about to offend somebody else because I got a good friend. I got a really good friend. Girl, you know I love you. So when I say this, it's no, it's not indicative of my love. I love you. I love you and your family. Y'all like right here with me. So when I say this, if you do happen to listen to the broadcast and hear it, take it, from,
A place of love.
don't, if you're going to come on talking about, yeah, gold, just buy a bunch of gold. Buy a bunch of gold. You ain't gonna build no wealth doing that. You be dead. Your great 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 grandchildren will be buying gold still. Gold doesn't appreciate fast enough to build wealth. It's not meant to do that. It is a leverage. That's why the U.S. dollar one time was backed by it because it's a leverage
Mhm.
to sustain and help to maintain it to pass it to another generation. Right? It's a leverage. But you just can't go out there and just say, I'm going to just buy a bunch of gold and I'm going to be wealthy. Do you know how much 1 ounce of gold is?
I can only imagine
If
because
you, if you
the
Google that a
prices
little
is up.
longer, I'm looking at the stream on mine. Can you Google what
The
1 ounce
prices is
right
up.
now? What 1 ounce of gold is just 1 ounce.
I will check and see.
I have an idea. Well, I know how much it is, but I don't know the exact amount. It's probably about 18 something, 1,800 or something. But let's see what Future says. Gold per ounce right now.
Hmm.
You have to buy a
How
whole.
much did you say?
I think it was like 1,800, and my guess would be like what 34.
No, $1,844 and
Right,
ten
yes,
cents.
I was off $10. So I was off $10. I keep telling y'all, I know what I'm talking about. I would not
Yeah.
get in here and embarrass myself if I didn't know what I was talking about.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to buy a lot of gold to get to $1 million, a lot of it, and you're gonna have to sit on it for multiple generations if you want it to grow into wealth. It's not meant for that. It's not an appreciation. It doesn't appreciate fast enough to
Hmm.
outpace inflation. It's meant to leverage. And leverage is important, but you're not going to get wealthy just out there calling
Buying
yourself.
gold bars.
It takes 1,800 as of right now, $1,844 just to buy 1 ounce. So I may invite you to come on the show and tell us if you think there's a better way to build generational wealth and financial legacy for family. If there's a better way, come and bring it to me. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. Oh Lord. Oh Jesus.
Jesus.
Somebody called Dave Ramsey and asked him who those 80% was that invested into their 401k and became millionaires. Because I need to talk to one of them. Maybe they can come on this show and provide some backups.
Right. It was how many people, James? It was how many?
It was like 10,000 people that they did a survey. 10,000 millionaires, and 80% of them invested in a 401k to become millionaires. 80%.
And you get some people, you offer them a 401k, they think you cursing at them.
Scam. Oh, the market's about to blow up and crash, and everything's gonna fall apart. So guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to buy crypto. Because the US dollar is crashing. It's trash. And the US dollar is the standard of the currency that backs everything right now in probably the entire world.
Right.
Look, do your homework on discount present value and then tell me, about inflation. The inflation exists and all of this stuff, right? But there's an inverted reaction between inflation and the stock market. Do a historical research and study. When inflation goes up high, the stock market tends to stumble. You'll see 5-year, 10-year, and 30-year Treasury notes go up. The government doesn't have to print as much money. They're able to lend out money to that rate, right? Therefore, when the banks, they mark theirs up a point and a half, or whatever, to lend it out to you, to us, right?
Okay.
And the Fed begins to make a little bit extra money on the government on their 5, 10, and 15 year and 35, 10, and 30-year Treasury notes. Because right now, if you look, they're all in the green, right? So they're the fact that the dollar, okay, it has lost 94% of its value since 1914 or 1926, whatever year it is. I don't remember. Don't quote me on those statistics. The point is, what you just need more of them. That's all. You just need more of them. The value is comparable to the day and age in which you lived in.
Okay.
So yes, a car costs money now, but then again, minimum wage ain't $3 no more either.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is comparable, right? Wages are increased, the cost of living has gone up, everything is comparable, right? I feel like I'm rambling now, but to make a long story short is the stock market ain't going nowhere. In spite of what you think and feel, the stock market is not going nowhere. And all those YouTube videos that you watch where they have the little, the little picture on the screen, to entice you to press the button.
Oh yeah.
The little picture on the screen with the fire and showing that all the buildings are falling down. And it's got the stock market going down in the red. And you're like, ooh, see, that proves what I was thinking. And like one of these people, I ain't gonna say his name, but you might know who I'm talking about, who's out here just telling you, oh, the stock market, get rid of your 401k, sell it all your 401k. The 401ks are just horrible. They're trash. They're terrible. They're like poor people would invest in 401ks. Person that's telling you that, they're telling you all of this real estate. Who is going to pay rent in all them buildings and real estate that he owns if everybody It's
Right.
invested in the stock market, and everybody's economy is about to crash, and everybody's going to be poor and living on the streets. Well, who's going to be paying rent in all those house rental properties that you have that's making you rich and wealthy?
Right. Right.
I'm done. You done, Deja? Come on, say something else to tell the folk
Um,
how much you love them.
yeah.
Unless you want
We will be
to.
back with you guys on Saturday with some more great content. Um, like and share.
We're going to talk about that. Do we even talk about what we're going to talk about yet?
No.
No. But it's going to be something good. We might even talk about. No, I'm going to say that. Anyway, like and share. If you're watching this via YouTube, do the same thing. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the video, and subscribe to the channel, rather, Working People's Podcast, and also press the notification bell when you get, notified when we upload new content. If you're watching via my personal Facebook page, you can do the same thing, like and share, and also you can drop some comments below. If you're watching on the brand new the Working People's Podcast Facebook page, thank you so much for checking us out. And we appreciate you coming through tonight. It's been James and
Dish for Vines League.
guess what? I'm sorry we gotta leave you, but we out.